Hello there and welcome to the channel. This is the first video in a series in which I'm going to share with you my ever-growing collection of one of my favourite video game consoles. And if you've not already guessed, the console in question is this guy. The Nintendo Switch is a TV and handheld hybrid console. It was released in 2017 with the Switch Lite, the handheld only version, released in 2019. With Sony and Microsoft pulling away on a technical level, it's fascinating to see that Nintendo Switch is still the go-to console for so many people. With a strong first-party lineup, a wide variety of third-party AAA ports, and enormous support from the indie developers, it's clear to see why this is the case. Now, I wouldn't consider myself the biggest Nintendo fan in the world. In fact, the last Nintendo home console that I actually owned for myself was a Super Nintendo, and I only really bought the handheld consoles here and there to play Pokemon. So the fact that I get so much enjoyment from this console proves that it's more than just a simple gimmick. So each episode in this series I'll share in no particular order a handful of games in my collection. So first up we have a game which needs no introduction, and that's Animal Crossing. So I'm sorry to say, but I've never actually played this game and I don't really have any intention to, it's just not really for me. This was actually a gift for my girlfriend and is the only game in the collection that doesn't actually belong to me. Next up, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torn of the Golden Country, the expansion. Oh man, what can I say about this game? I just don't really have the words to do it justice. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a gorgeous game. The music is just mesmerising, the art style is perfect, the combat system's awesome, I love the story, the characters, and Torn of the Golden Country only adds to that. How do you improve perfection? I don't know. I do have the collector's edition for this game, and I unboxed it in one of my recent videos. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. So yeah, this game, set in the world of All Rest, where there's no land left and the world's engulfed by the Cloud Sea. It's an enormous open world JRPG with just so much personality. I can imagine the complexity of the battle system isn't for everyone, but I'd argue that the story alone is worth the price itself. Next up, Ark Survival Evolved. If you've done any research on this game at all, or if you're aware of Digital Foundry, then I can imagine the warning signs are going on right now in your head. But, somehow, I've managed to sink about 700 hours into this game. What I will say, if you have any other console and you've ever considered playing Ark Survival Evolved, get it on the other console. Mainly because it just looks like a big fat potato on the Nintendo Switch. So then why, if I've got a half decent PC, then why have I put so many hours into this on the Switch? Well, I guess for the handheld aspect. I do a lot of night shifts, so it's always handy being able to play a game which is an enormous time burner. There's also the community. It's small enough so that you actually feel a sense of belonging while you're playing, unlike I'd say on the Xbox, the PS4 or the PC. So, if you can get this heavily discounted, then go for it. I wasn't expecting too much from this game, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. It runs very smoothly, it's challenging, and it's very addictive. I used to play the old Call of Duty games all the time, sank so many hours and hours with my friends back in the day. If you don't mind playing something like that but in third person, then this is for you. And then we have Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition. I know very little about this game. Apparently you dive into the snowy plains of Gungale Online and you challenge bosses stronger than ever. I actually got this as a present from my girlfriend. I was doing a charity hike up the north of Scotland and she gave it to me for me getting back, and I've still not actually been able to put any more than a few hours into it, so that's something that I'll go back to at some point. Next we have arguably one of the best ports on the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion, and that's Doom. 2016. Now this blew a lot of people away when it came out. Although it wasn't perfect, they did patch out the game to get it running pretty damn well on the Switch. Doom is a fast-paced first-person shooter fit for adrenaline junkies. You play as Doom Guy and pretty much you just shred through the forces of hell. Doom happens to be one of my favourite franchises. I've completed Doom 1, 2, 3, 64, 2016 but not yet played Eternal. I was going to get it on Xbox but I'm curious to see how the Switch port goes, so I'll try it on that before getting it on the PC. I was so happy when Bethesda released the older games onto the Switch, so much so that I had these custom boxes made, purely just for the reason that they look badass. And then we have Northgard. I gave a more in-depth description and an unboxing of the Signature Edition for this game in another video. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. Northgard is one of those Skyview tactical games like Age of Empires that you don't see very often on the Switch. It looks well and it actually controls pretty well. Apart from a few hiccups in the frame rate, it plays pretty well as well. I enjoy the Viking theme and I really like the Signature Edition that I got this game in. Well worth checking out. And then we have another first party Nintendo game, and that's Luigi's Mansion 3. I had never actually played any of the games in this series, and I thoroughly enjoyed it when I played it last Halloween, and that's despite the fairly generic storyline. Now I'd argue this is one of the best looking first party games on the Switch. It looks crisp and it plays very well. Then there's Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. This is another lovely wee RPG with a lot of personality to it. So far I've only put about 10 hours into this game, so I do aim to go back and complete it at some point because I know I'm going to like it. It probably just takes up a lot of time, that's why I've not got to it so far. Next up, Grid Autosport. Although this is a last generation game, I'm going to say that this is one of the best looking games on the Switch. They ported it so well and added enhancements. The game comes with various options, so you can customise it to suit the way you want to play. Next up we have Raging Loop, which again I know very little to nothing about. In terms of my collection, I always just try to collect games that I'm going to aim to complete and I'll enjoy. This one, however, I just seen it for £10 in my local game and I thought why not? So at some point I do plan on getting around to completing it. And then we have Telltale Games Walking Dead, the final season. I mean, I'm so glad they finished this series. I love the Walking Dead Telltale. I completed all the seasons but I've never actually got around to completing this one. I've not even opened it yet. So again, that's one that I'm working on. And then who doesn't like Rocket League? Although this game's been out for a while now, it still has an enormous fan base and it was ported really well to the Switch by Panic Button. Then we've got Resident Evil Revelations Collection. This little bundle comes with Revelations 1 and Revelations 2. I believe the first one was actually a port from the 3DS, and I hear that it was a really cracking looking game on that little system. I've now completed both games and I did enjoy them. They weren't perfect, but I did enjoy them. And that concludes the first little bundle for my ever-growing collection of Nintendo Switch games. I'll aim to upload another video soon featuring another handful of games from my collection. So thank you very much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed. If you are new to the channel, please feel free to like and subscribe and you can check out some other videos as well. Thank you.